Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Drive Fitness Podcast. For those of you that are new, I am the host, Tom Driver, and today my guest is a friend of mine, Kayla Williams. Kayla has her BS in Kinesiology and a post-baccalaureate certificate in nutrition and dietetics, and she is currently a dietetic intern. Kayla has also recently started a company called Purely Balanced Nutrition, where she advises clients on their diets. This interview took place about 2 weeks ago, and since then, I've actually become one of Kayla's clients. She has me tracking all of my nutritional input on MyFitnessPal and is slowly starting to give me advice and advise me on how to eat healthier. So it's been a little bit less than 2 weeks, but so far it has been amazing having a nutrition coach. I have really appreciated Kayla and all of her insights, and she shares so much good information with us throughout the course of this episode, so you might honestly want to take some notes. If you are interested in her services, or you just want to see all the great information that she posts on social media, you can follow her on Instagram at Nutrition with Kales with 2 S's. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone to check out our merchandise at drivefitness.app/store and to check out our exclusive Drive Fitness podcast episodes on patreon.com/drivefitness. All right, enjoy the episode.
Kayla up in this bitch.
How you doing today?
I'm doing good, you?
You having a fun day?
Hell yes, I am.
Hell yeah.
Had a great day of client check-ins and a workout and listening to you and Frank talk about all things psychology.
That sounds amazing.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. We're like, podcast.
Wait, what kind of podcast do you want it to be?
Are we recording?
Super woo?
Yeah. No. Woo as in like, hell yes, we're gonna go talk all things
yes.
nutrition, food,
Let's get pumped
whatever,
up.
etc.
Healthy living, healthy eating.
Let's fucking go.
We got a different energy for this one.
Yes.
We're going to kill it,
I was gonna
slay
say,
it.
the last one was a little bit just kind of, which is totally fine because that's what it had to be. So.
Are you hating on Frank's podcast?
No, I'm not.
Was it?
I'm not hating.
Excuse me, Frank, we're recording. Please respect the process.
No, I wasn't hating on it.
It's just a little bit boring.
No, it wasn't boring. It was just very,
Calm.
It was calm. That's
It was
a good
relaxing.
word for it. Yeah, because.
But eating healthy, it's not relaxing, right? It's
Well, I guess it should be technically, but yes.
But we gotta get people excited. We gotta
Exactly. You have to get pumped to eat well, guys, and we'll talk all about that.
We gotta get pumped up.
Yes.
We gotta get thin.
Amped. Well, let's not go there.
No.
So
No.
that's a whole different ballgame. Let's not open up that can of worms tonight.
No. We're not gonna count any calories tonight. We're not gonna scare anybody away from nutrition.
We'll get all into that, guys. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Let me get into my
Into podcast mode.
homeostasis.
This is my first podcast, guys, so bear with us, but I'm sure it will be fine.
I am nervous to talk about nutrition, guys.
He is nervous because he is possibly a brand new client, hopefully, right?
I do not eat healthy as much as I
That is correct.
want to be the healthy
Yes.
role model for all of my followers. I am not that at the moment.
Right.
Especially when it comes to nutrition. I love to work out all the time, but boy, do I like to drink Red Bull.
Yeah, he does, as he currently has one right in front of him.
I'm cutting that out.
For why? No, that should be a good thing, then everyone can kind of see that.
All right, so let's get started. Can you? Okay. That just got too serious. I need to roll.
Do not
with it.
be serious.
Don't be serious. All right.
So basically, Tommy and I have been friends for almost 7 years. Well, at 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
No, what? Yeah, we're in October.
Yes.
So 7 years now.
7 years. That's absolutely insane, dude. I can't believe.
Dude, that's a long time. That's so crazy.
Oh, I'm
Oh
old.
my gosh.
I'm old.
That's literally what it feels like.
So Kayla was super into working out and all that in college, and then later on she found a passion for nutrition, right?
Hell
So
yes, I did.
Can you kind of go over your credentials, what you study in undergrad, what degree are you currently getting?
So I have my bachelor's in kinesiology with a concentration in exercise science from James Madison University. Go Dukes! Woo! So I took a year off after that, worked as a sports performance coach. Then I realized that I honestly love everything food, training, nutrition, etc., but more so on the nutrition side. That brought me to Nashville at Lipscomb University. I got my post-baccalaureate certificate in nutrition and dietetics actually back in June/July. So I have that, and I applied to a dietetic internship.
So can you tell me a little bit about your dietetics internship then?
Yes. So for the dietetic internship, you have to basically do rotations at 4 different areas, right? So the first area is a food service management. Okay. So that is 6 weeks, and you have to have 240 hours. And then for clinical, you have to have, and they did lower it because of COVID. So that's 400 hours now. And then a community rotation, which would be with WIC, which is women, infants, and children. Or you could do like something with SNAP. If you don't know like what SNAP is, that would be food stamps, etc. So basically that whole program. You could work with someone that has a private practice or if they had a nonprofit. So that's basically what I will be doing next. So that is 200 hours for mine in particular. You have a extra like 3-week for rotation. And then when you're done with that, you can, study for the RD exam and then take the exam, hopefully pass, and become a registered, dietitian.
Okay.
So.
And wait.
Yes.
I didn't know this earlier. An RD is a registered dietitian.
Registered dietitian.
Right. You go through these 4 different cycles, right?
Rotations. Yes.
And then you study for an exam and you become
a registered dietitian.
Registered dietitian.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with that?
Perfect. So I want to have my own practice. Over the summer, I actually did my own, I would say, nutrition coaching business, Purely Balanced Nutrition, LLC. Go.
Nice.
Kayla, yay.
So you started this company. It's called Purely Balanced Nutrition.
Purely Balanced Nutrition.
And you have clients and you help them.
Clients.
You help them with their diets, right?
So I have some who want to lose weight, some who are putting on muscle. I don't think anyone's just maintaining at the moment.
You're not yet an RD, right?
Nope. I will be an RD definitely by this time next year.
So you're allowed to charge people for nutrition advice beforehand, but once you become a registered dietitian, that'll just basically give you more credibility in the field, right?
So it kind of does depend. As, in RD, you obviously can work with anybody, obviously, but I can't work with anybody that has an eating disorder, anybody that has kidney issues, say they're on like dialysis. Heck no, I would not be allowed to work with them right now. And I personally would not feel comfortable. Medical nutrition therapy, that's what I cannot legally be doing right now. Until I become NRD.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So you can help general people who want advice.
General, like just weight loss. Yeah. Just like general weight loss. Okay. And so that's what I've been doing for the time being. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I think you were telling me you have like about 8 clients, right? Or something like that? I
have like 26.
26?
Yeah, I do. So,
oh my gosh.
So you and possibly your girlfriend would be like 28. So
okay.
It's wild. 8 clients. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. So
no, I know.
Just to catch you guys up, we're going to talk a little bit more about my habits and the way I eat later on because I am considering becoming one of Kayla's clients, right? So that's kind of exciting. We're going to kind of flesh out the issues that I'm having with my diets right here on the podcast. When someone wants to sign up and become one of your clients, what kind of services do you provide them? What is that whole process like?
So I do have a website, purelybalancednutrition.com. So I do have an application process. So they will apply and then I will go through like their application and then I will shoot them a message. Then we'll hop on a phone call just to kind of make sure that we're a good fit. So then I do have them keep track of their food. So, and that's drinks, food, alcoholic drinks also, right? For the first 6 to 7 days. And for a lot of the time, I would say the clients that come to basically myself, they are kind of tracking. So for someone such as yourself, it will be very interesting, but it will definitely be totally fine. So yeah, so they will keep track of that for the first couple, or for like the first week, and then I'll go through everything, kind of figure out what their, current caloric intake is. So how many calories they're currently intaking, how much protein, carbs, and fats they are also consuming, fiber, which is super, super important, and then their water intake, and then I will go calculate what they should be doing, and then we will go from there.
Okay. About calorie tracking, how do you feel about someone who is only looking at his calories as a metric to, track their nutrition?
So, all right, I could go on a little bit of a rant about this.
So, my name's Tom. I only track my calories, and I try to stay in my healthy zone of calories. What's wrong with this?
Calories are the protein, carbs, and fats of what you're eating.
Is that it? It's just those three?
Protein, carbs, and fats, yeah.
Everything boils down to those three.
Protein, carbs, and fats, yeah.
Kind of crazy. What about sugars?
That's a carb.
It's a carb.
Carbohydrate.
Interesting.
Glucose, like a sugar.
So then not all carbs are equal then, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So why just count all of your carbs? Why not split it up in between the ones that are sugars and the ones that are...
okay. Well, in that sense, they are all equal, yes. So basically, a carb is a carb. Sorry, I did not hear that right. So a carb is a carb.
So if I eat a cup of potatoes and I eat a cup of sugar, it's essentially my body's going to process it the same way. It's going to do the same nutritional output from... I feel like that's not true, right?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the amount of carbohydrates in a cup of potatoes and a cup of sugar is completely different, because sugar is like a lot...
So it's like concentrated.
It's like more concentrated, yeah.
Got it.
A cup of potatoes is only like 35, 40 grams of carbs. A cup of sugar is a lot of carbohydrates.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense then.
If that kind of helps.
Yes. Now I understand. Okay, circle back to why it's not okay to only track calories.
Sorry. Okay, so 1 gram of carbohydrates, that equals 4 calories, okay? And 1 gram of protein, that is 4 calories. And 1 gram of fat, that's 9 calories per gram, okay? So when you have, say, like a calorie goal of 2,000 calories, say that you do hit that goal, awesome. However, that calorie goal may have only been hit from fats. So you had like 2,000 calories in fats. That's awful, right? Our bodies have to have protein, carbs, and fats to live, right?
What's like an average balance that you want?
That totally depends on the person.
Person
dependent, yeah.
But which one of those is the most detrimental to health? Like if it gets too high?
Too high. You're saying protein, carbs, or fats?
Yeah. Fats?
Honestly, they all could be very detrimental if they're super high. So, for example, if someone has an absurd amount of carbs, but like their body cannot handle it, that could lead to type 2 diabetes, and we don't like that. If you have too much fat, that could equal a high cholesterol with some high protein. That's awesome if you are either running a lot, weight training, etc. Either running a lot, actually, you don't have to have like an absurd amount. But, take someone who does competition, so bodybuilding, they obviously have to have a lot of protein to keep creating muscle and just kind of keeping up with that, right? So, but if you have someone who doesn't, and say like they just sit around but they do have a lot of protein, that could eventually lead to kidney disease and overall like just kidney issues. So all of those can cause some issues.
So all of those can have a particularly bad effect on your health if they're too high.
Correct.
Which one of those causes like obesity, or do all three of them play a part?
Protein definitely does not. No.
Okay. So too much protein won't make you obese.
No.
Your body will process that and it won't add any extra.
It shouldn't. Do not quote me on that, but I've not heard of that
I'm sure there's someone
happening.
who shit
I
ton
could
of
look that
protein.
up though. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Okay, but then so mostly an excess of carbs and fats.
Usually
of those?
it does kind of. I'm sure like there could be a case. You never know that could happen. That'd be super interesting to look into.
But there is something wrong with an all-protein diet, like the carnivore diet.
Oh boy, don't get me started.
No, I'm getting you started. That's what we're doing.
Okay, yeah, there is definitely something wrong with that because...
Why? What is wrong with that, Kayla?
Okay. So usually, with that, people are having red meat on red meat on red meat, which that's fine, like twice a week. But you're having that every single day, like 2 to 3 to 4 times a day, that's an absurd amount of fats also. You have to think about that.
If you could somehow split out just the protein and not get all the fat that comes with a lot of these meats.
Red meat in general just isn't the best for us. It can definitely cause like a lot of issues.
What proteins or meats are better for you, or do you recommend?
Lean protein,
Like
so
chicken?
like chicken breast, chicken tenders, ground turkey,
But
ground
you told me
chicken.
you didn't like chicken nuggets.
Well, those are extremely processed and kind of fake chicken.
What's wrong? What's wrong with processed food?
It just, oh boy, you really want to go there?
I am starting from ground zero, bro.
Oh boy.
We'll get into me later, but I eat chicken nuggets and
See, processed,
Pepsi.
so, processed food is fine in moderation. And that's why I basically did create my business as purely balanced, because you want to have like a good balance. Obviously, like I do eat some processed food. Like I just had some goldfish earlier. But that also isn't something that I have every day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And processed food, obviously, they do add things that we don't have to have. So basically, they have a lot higher fat, carbs, etc., just because of all of the extra additives that they have. The chicken and chicken nuggets. Now, I will say the ones at Chick-fil-A, they're fine, because obviously, like, that is real chicken. That is real chicken.
You heard it here, guys. The one at Chick-fil-A is good.
No, it is, because that is actual
Let's
chicken.
go.
Like, they actually do cook that there. Yeah, I will.
I can eat Chick-fil-A every day and I'm good.
I mean, you can, but I would just be kind of careful, just for the long term.
Yeah.
You don't want your blood lipids to be high.
And don't get the soda or the potatoes or the French fries.
You can have French fries just like in moderation. Just don't have them every day,
Everything in moderation, guys.
Exactly. Literally, that's how I live my life, purely balanced.
Wow.
Yes.
We're going to say that probably 30 times.
I literally say that on a daily basis.
Okay. So what I don't understand then is what are fruits and vegetables?
Carbs.
Those are just straight carbs?
Those are carbs because they all break down like to sugars.
All fruits and vegetables
or some
are just
starches eventually. Once they all process.
I feel like they deserve their own lane. I feel like aren't they much healthier though than eating like bread? Of
course, yeah, they definitely are.
Because wait, do they have like less carbs per serving or like what?
So fruit has sugar.
Yes.
Fructose. Okay, that is the sugar in fruit. That is a carbohydrate in itself. See, this is where we could go into some biochemistry, which you don't want to do on your show right now. So fruits and vegetables are carbs. Yes.
Okay.
Bread is a carb. Potatoes are carbs. Goldfish are carbs.
So in the end of the day, my body is going to kind of treat bread similar to a vegetable.
Vegetables do have a lot of fiber, so obviously they will get absorbed a lot slower than, say, something such as like white bread.
Is fiber a type of a carb? Is that part of the whole carb category?
So fiber is not a carbohydrate. It is roughage. So basically that is the part of a plant that your body can basically not digest. And there's a couple different types of fiber.
Fiber, then
roughage.
It's not a macronutrient, right?
Nope.
So
your body cannot digest it.
A macronutrient is a protein, a carb, or a fat.
Yep.
Then is there micronutrients?
There are actually. Those would be your vitamins, minerals, etc.
Okay, and so is that maybe what separates something like a broccoli from being healthier than like a bread, because it has other minerals and things in there that are good for you?
They're nutrient dense. Yep.
Got it. Okay, because I was like, well, why don't I just eat bread all the time, right?
Right.
Okay, so
and bread's fine in moderation.
But people usually only track macronutrients, right?
Right. Yeah.
Is that just because it's too crazy hard to track the micronutrients, or just because you can have a balanced diet just focusing on the macros?
Ooh, that's kind of a loaded question. So when someone does track something, say in like MyFitnessPal, so that's what myself and my clients are basically using. That's what basically everybody uses, right? It's just like a big app. It does keep track of protein, carbs, and fats, but also there's a couple different vitamins on there: iron, calcium, fiber, sugar, etc. It does kind of keep track of some of the micros, just not all of them.
Okay. So I guess for a second I was getting confused as if macronutrients was all there is to food, but that's just that's boiling it down to the 3 biggest building blocks of food, the ones that are most worth your time to focus in and track, right?
Yes, down to like the cellular level, like we have to have vitamins and minerals. So that's all I'll say about that. So we do have to have those.
Okay.
But for body composition, purposes, so like gain weight, lose weight, etc., 3 macros are the most important in my opinion.
Okay. In general, do you think that it's good to have 3 meals a day?
Depends on the person.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, I personally, no, I have to have like 5. So just so that I can get everything in.
Yeah, I like smaller meals.
Right.
I personally would rather do that.
Yeah, and that just depends. I think I would say majority of my clients probably have about 4 to 5.
Basically, the meals are not really a focus, right? It's just what you ate throughout the day, the timing and the way you group your food together.
What do you mean by the meals?
For a client, it's important to be like, hey, you should have 3 meals a day and make sure you spread them out and eat a third of your food at these moments. Or is it, okay, you need to keep your macronutrient levels around here as you eat throughout the day, and it doesn't matter when or where you eat them. Okay.
Second part.
But what about
macros?
Is there anything schedule related that's important, like don't eat after 10 p.m.
No, that is so false. Don't even get me started with that.
Good. No. That is what we need. That's what we need to bring out, right?
We're gonna
So it doesn't matter what time you eat. You can eat late.
That's correct. Okay. So here's the thing. If somebody does eat late, so say you have some snacks or pizza, say it's like 11 p.m. So you go to bed at 12 or 1 a.m. Okay, cool. I will say, you probably will wake up the following day feeling just like a little bit kind of bloated, but that's only because your body hasn't had that much extra time to sit there and digest everything.
Okay.
So say that you do eat late and then you go and you weigh yourself. Okay, well obviously that's not gonna be that accurate because
so I think
it's still there.
The misconception is that if you eat right before bed,
you're going to gain weight.
You're going to gain weight because your body won't burn it.
It's not true. It's so false.
And what you're saying is maybe you won't burn it immediately, but you'll wake up and do stuff and you'll burn it.
Exactly.
And it'll all kind of balance itself out.
And, if you go to the bathroom, it'll be fine.
Okay. I do want to jump more into nutrition, but since we're talking about scheduling and stuff, let's just hit this one. Sleep.
Is
sleep varying on person, or is it you recommend 8 hours? I know that.
Again, it does depend on the person, but usually I say between like 6 and 8 hours.
Okay,
and usually works for like most people, and it helps reset everything.
So I know that everyone's different, but let's just say in general, someone is not getting enough sleep. What happens?
Oh man, so that happens to actually a good amount of my current clients. So if you don't get enough sleep, you can wind up holding extra water, right? So aka you will feel bloated. The scale will go up, obviously, because of the extra water. Your hunger hormone called ghrelin can actually be, I know, right? Grr, because you're hungry. But anyways, so if you do not get enough sleep, that will be increased. And then leptin, the hormone that will tell your brain that you're full, will be, let me see, ghrelin decrease. Leptin will decrease. So then you will keep eating. And then you will also be more inclined to kind of eat highly palatable foods, so such as like, sweets, salty foods, etc.
Okay.
If that kind of helps. That probably was like off on a tangent. But.
No, that's good. That's good. So I'm assuming there is not like a big concern about sleeping too much. Is there?
I mean, you can just kind of be overtired, if you say get like 10, 11 hours sleep.
Health-wise and nutrition-wise, it's not going to mess you up.
Not that I've heard of.
Yeah.
Maybe don't quote me, but I haven't heard of anything being bad if you sleep too long.
I don't think that that's a problem a lot of people have, so I guess it's just not a concern.
That's true. Yeah.
If you're sleeping 12 hours a day, good for you. I don't know how you did that, but
exactly. Yeah.
That's impressive almost.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, I wanted to focus in. You just said something about the hormone that makes you feel fuller or not.
Leptin.
Leptin. I feel like that's super important. I feel like we should
Leptin's very important. If your levels aren't, I would say quite where like they should be, that can totally, affect whether or not you are eating extra, or say that your leptin super high, then you would be full like super easily, right? And so this can actually happen, say for somebody who does do a body bodybuilding show, and obviously we will touch on that on a different episode. But when you come out of that, your leptin is low. Like, you're so hungry. So we'll get into that in another episode. But yeah, so that definitely can be affected.
And so if someone is getting obese, as they start gaining weight, their leptin levels will rise, and that will make them more hungry?
Usually they would decrease.
Oh, so if your leptin levels are low,
because leptin will signal that you're full. So if you have low leptin, then it's not really signaling.
Do obese people have a lower level of leptin?
It depends. You'd have to read a bunch of research on that. But I believe I have heard that is true.
Okay. Yeah. Let's scare some people with alcohol. What happens when you drink alcohol?
Oh, boy, that's super complicated, the biochemistry part, so we won't get into that.
Yeah.
But in general, your body doesn't really know what to do with alcohol, right? Because alcohol is not a protein, carb, or a fat. However, when we are tracking it, then we can count it as a carb or a fat. That's where it kind of gets, like, a bit weird. I know.
Because you need to track it, basically, right? You can't just ignore alcohol.
Right, because, obviously, alcohol is like something
substantial for some people.
Yes, right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, say that someone drinks one drink every couple weeks, they'll be fine. For someone who drinks, say, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beers, whatever else drinks there are, shots, Trulies, mixed drinks, etc., that is a lot. And say, like, they're drinking it quite often, that's going to really mess up everything. Say that they are in the process of wanting to lose weight, their weight loss is not going to happen if they, are consuming a frequent amount of alcohol and that much.
Okay.
So,
and in general, alcohol is bad. Like, that was so simple. Like, duh. Okay.
Yes.
Alcohol bad. That's what I heard. Okay.
Yes. But moderation.
Moderation. Exactly. Have fun if you need to have fun.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about protein, how you recommend proteins that are more like chicken, right, than red meat.
Lean meats.
When it comes to something like carbs, what do you recommend? White bread versus wheat bread?
White bread usually kind of has been, demonized, right? Because, it's white bread. It's basically all sugar, which it does basically break down to straight glucose. We don't have to go there. But that can actually be good if you're having it pre or post workout, because it does get digested that fast, and so it's like boom, and then your body is instantly supplied with those carbs.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about pre and post workout dieting. Okay. So do you suggest people eat a meal before they go to the gym?
Most definitely.
Okay, what kind of meal is the best right before the gym?
So in regards to meals, usually the goal is to have between 40 and 60% of your carbohydrate intake around pre and post workout time. So say like your carb goal is 200 grams carbs. Take 40 to 60% of those and then kind of split them between pre and post workout, if that makes sense. So I do have a client right now, and she's in a cut, and so she's having around like 100 carbs, so like 50 and 50 pre and post.
What about protein? Isn't it important to take protein right after a workout? Yeah,
so pre and post, obviously, so that, your body can undergo the muscle protein synthesis, which is a whole different topic. So pre, it obviously does kind of depend on the person, right? So for myself personally, I can have a big thing like right before I work out. And a lot of people cannot have that much food right beforehand, but I personally have to, or else I will get sick. So usually they say between like 2 hours to like 30 minutes prior to like have food. So you want to have, a protein source, obviously. So in regards to that, you could do a shake. You could do like Greek yogurt. You could do chicken or something along those lines. I'm trying to think, like eggs, egg whites. Obviously, egg is a fat.
It's okay to have that ahead of time, or is it more important to have it afterwards?
Both. Because you need energy pre and post.
Could you only have protein afterwards? Do carbs beforehand and then protein after?
So carbs will just kind of spike your blood sugar real fast. It will go down also real fast if you don't have that protein with it.
Okay. So if you don't have any protein before workout, you're going to spike up, and you probably won't make it to the end of your workout as far as energy levels go, because carbs are a quicker energy spike than protein is more like longer lasting energy, right?
For the most part,
I knew that one.
And then protein and carbs, they actually do work together. So if you have a protein and a carbohydrate source after like your workout, if you do incorporate that protein source, it does kind of slow things down so that it's not as fast. But in regards to carbohydrate sources, pre and post workout, usually the goal is like faster digesting carbs. So such as, anything that is kind of like, processed. I hate to say it, but so like white bread, rice cakes are like super fast, white rice, sugary cereal. So something along those lines. Bagels are great pre-workout for carbohydrates. Those are great like pre and post, even pasta.
Now, you said you didn't really want to dive into the whole muscle recovery thing. Isn't there a window of when you should have your protein after a workout, especially for people who lift weights? Is that like a real time frame you need to be concerned about?
It's actually a myth. As long basically as you have them within like a couple hours, you don't have to have it like right after. Like, oh man, like I have to go and have my shake.
Yeah. I thought there was like a 30-minute rule.
I did too when I was first beginning, like in college. Nah, that's all false.
Okay. So
that's good.
Within a couple hours.
Yes, just so that like your body can optimally use that.
What kind of supplements do you take on a weekly basis, and what do you recommend? Which ones do you frown upon?
So I don't actually really recommend any supplements other than say like vitamins, right? Or like some protein powder. Obviously, if you are getting your protein like from whole sources, so meat, yogurt, cheese, etc., then obviously that is awesome. Say you're under your protein goal by like 30 grams every day, then I would say yes, I would probably supplement with the shake.
Someone who's maybe like a vegetarian who can't eat meat,
I would
a protein
say,
shake is like great for them, but someone like
definitely.
me. So a lot of times I will have like a protein shake and then go home and eat more meat.
Yes.
I don't really need to do that.
No, so if you do want to have that shake, because that shake will get into your bloodstream, into your muscles a lot faster than say like egg whites or chicken or any type of other types like of proteins, then definitely have a carbohydrate source with that. So like say you're at the gym and you're having a shake, you can have a shake, have some rice cakes, have some like dried cereal, fruit's great. Bananas are great pre and post workout.
I love bananas. I actually do eat a lot of bananas.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, so if someone does want to have a shake, great, have a carb too. If you do want to have chicken or something afterwards, I would wait after you have the shake at least an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then have that. Our bodies can really only have like so much protein at once.
Okay.
Before it's like,
So let's circle back to supplements, because there's another question I forgot I missed out on. You were saying that you should have 40 to 60% of your carbohydrates before and after your workout, right? Mm-hmm. Does that change if you work out, like if you're a morning person or an afternoon person? Like I used to work out at night. Like, should I really wait up until night to have all those carbohydrates?
I would say it kind of also depends like on your goal too. So, say for just like the average, person in general, you don't really have to put that much of like a focus on it. Like if you're really not trying to actually actively build any muscle. If you are though, I would definitely really take that into consideration. However, there are a lot of people who have to work out really early and they cannot have any food that early or else they will get sick. So obviously at that point, it really will not apply to them, if that makes sense.
If I got all the free time in the world, do you recommend to wake up and work out in the middle of the day, or like work out at night? That's personal preference. It doesn't matter. It just really doesn't matter. And then you just work your diet around that.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Going back to supplements.
Oh yeah, I was going to say something too.
I'm sure you're going to hate on this one, but creatine.
No, creatine's great.
Creatine's great.
It is, dude.
I thought you said you don't recommend any supplements.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I kind of like wasn't done with that part. So the supplements, that would be good. So, protein powder, cool if say you're not getting an adequate amount of protein. Creatine, also great because, our bodies, like we have that inside of us.
Yeah, natural creatine.
So, and then go and add some extra creatine to help with like recovery and muscle building and everything, then that's great. So that's like totally fine. And in regards to vitamins and everything, usually a good multi is great. Multivitamin If your multivitamin does not have vitamin D in it, I would recommend doing that too.
Mm-hmm. Sidebar, vitamin D is good for COVID, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So take your vitamin D.
Got it.
Vitamin C, but usually most multis have that too.
Okay.
That's really the only like special ones I would
Do
recommend.
they usually have fish oils? I know.
Oh, fish oil is amazing too.
What
Definitely.
does fish oil do?
So fish oil can help, with your joints and muscles and everything. It's great for your heart as well. There are so many benefits to fish oil. Mm-hmm. So this is the certain ratio of EPA and DHA in fish oil.
I don't know what
They're omega-3 fatty acids. Fatty acids, and those are great fats. Like good fats for us. They're good for our brains, joints,
I was about to say,
everything.
I thought fish oils were really good for your brains.
Very good.
So if you're taking fish oils, you would count that as a certain amount of fats that you're having throughout the day.
Yep. Yeah.
That one pill,
look at you.
I'm learning, hey.
Yes.
But, so that one pill is going to have enough fats to actually track, right? Like that's like...
Oh, yes. Yeah, so...
Marginally a significant amount, right?
Well, not like a significant amount. Like, so for example, the one I take only has 4.5 grams of actual fat in it. Okay. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So let's just say fish oils, they're good for your brain as well. Fish oils very
good for us. Yeah, brain, joints,
muscles,
heart, great
organs.
For cardiovascular health. Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a huge dub then for anyone taking fish oils.
Yes, take your fish oil, kids.
Okay, so creatine is okay because it's natural in the body. Mm-hmm. Are there any supplements that you are like that? I don't recommend that. Like steroids, no.
Okay, that's a whole different. That's person dependent.
One.
That's person dependent, though.
Okay,
if you are into like lifting bodybuilder, like you want to get your pro card, you got to take some steroids. You just have to.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure if you're recovering from certain injuries and stuff, you would.
Like certain types of steroids, not obviously like what they're taking. Like yeah. So.
Okay, but are there any like misconceptions about supplements that you see often? Or misconception about their certain brands or quantities, anything?
A greens supplement. Here we go. We can talk about this. So greens. So I'm sure that you've probably seen like a lot of different stuff, like from different companies that say, like take this greens powder. It will help you like eliminate bloat and whatnot or whatever.
Are you saying grains?
Greens.
Greens.
Like green vegetables, but in like powdered form.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I might like that.
Right. And so here we go. So, for somebody such, as yourself, because you don't eat that much vegetables, right? That's fine. But I would definitely then say go and supplement with like a greens powder. That will help you in that situation. But greens powder is not something that you have to have.
Okay. Just in case people don't understand, I don't eat that many fruits and vegetables.
Oh, yes.
And so she's saying that this is not for everyone, but if you're someone that really just hates eating fruits, or no, hates eating vegetables.
And fruits, because there's some that have like a combination.
There's a certain greens powder supplement that you can take instead, basically.
There's many different ones.
This is kind of a random tangent, but do you think that we're at a place where you could basically take all supplements? Like you just have one super drink that you have a couple times a day and that does everything for you?
No, I'm against an all liquid type of diet. So... And I mean, it'd be hard to get the amount. Well, plus, I mean, say you did have something like that and you had 4 different servings of protein in it all at once. That's like, our bodies will not be able to actually get that all in.
But what if you had like 3 different drinks?
You're saying like throughout the day. Yeah. Oh, I've never thought about that. I mean...
Yeah, this is just a random idea.
No, that'd be different. I don't know why like you wouldn't want to actually eat your food, so...
See, I'm a coder, and us coders, we like to just sit at our desk for hours and just literally just... I don't know. I don't like cooking. Like I don't like...
Yeah.
Cooking is a cool art, right, and all that stuff, but I'm very like time focused. I don't want to waste time cooking. That's why I eat a lot of processed food, actually, and that's kind of where this is all leading. Is I eat a lot of processed food, like the microwavable sandwiches,
Sounds
for
like
breakfast.
Frank.
Yeah, and it's not always because I'm just unhealthy and I like processed food. A lot of it is just I don't want to waste any time cooking. I just want to be efficient in my job and all my other areas of life, So that's just why I was curious.
I'm sure at some point it's possible. There are honestly like maybe some companies that probably are currently doing that. I personally just don't think that it's the best because you're probably not going to get the amount of fiber that you have to have each day. I mean, so everything's just could be all out of whack down there.
Got it. Last topic that I'm aware of that we need to talk about, which honestly I'm probably going to get more uncomfortable in this conversation than you are, but you seem to have an emphasis on poop. Right? Like, that is one way.
It is important. Yes. Go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom.
Take a poop.
Like, I don't even know what to talk about, but what is like a healthy bowel movement? What is a healthy amount? What things do you think about?
I mean, I can't really say just go because obviously that's up to our bodies. But as long as you're going at least like once every day, then that's awesome.
Oh, this is gross. But like, if you're having diarrhea every week, is that a sign that
that's a sign that there's something happening down there that you need to go and either get checked out. You need to look at your overall fiber intake. So, fiber, there's 2 different types, soluble and insoluble fiber, and both kind of aid in helping to form like the poop, if that makes sense.
Okay.
For lack of a better term.
So, solid poops that are, that are
this is great.
Daily, right? That's a healthy.
I mean, as long as like it does not like I'm hurt coming out, then yes, then that's fine.
So there is like a too hard situation as well.
Oh yeah,
and what
definitely.
What causes that?
That can be usually from a lack of water, fiber, like certain types of fiber, and just like etc. So there's a lot that goes into that, obviously.
Well, I do feel like tracking your whole diet is obviously the best way to go, and tracking your macros sounds like the best way to go, but for someone who is lazy or doesn't have the time, right? Your bowel movements might be the quickest way to just kind of check on your diet
100%,
health. And especially just kind of the whole diarrhea route is like a red flag moment. Like maybe you should
need to get something checked out.
And maybe if you feel like the bowel movements are healthier, maybe you don't have to freak out as much about. Maybe you're kind of on a healthier diet.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I'm uncomfortable by it, so we can move on.
Oh, see, it's all natural.
Yeah.
It happens. But yes, we can move on.
Thank you. I feel like that is an important thing to bring up, though, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I feel like a lot of people probably don't talk about that on the podcast. So
I know. I feel like on social media and stuff. You are not afraid to talk about it, like on social media and stuff.
I'm not.
I think that a lot of, especially like female dietitians probably feel weird, they don't want to.
There's actually a lot that I personally do follow that like they're always talking about, and I love it.
Well, maybe those are like the real hardcore dietitians.
Or like
I guess a lot of female just fitness people or just
don't get fitness people
or males.
With dietitians.
I shouldn't be sexist over here. A lot of people don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
let's just say that,
Yeah.
And it's important, fam.
It is very important. Yes.
Okay, what is your favorite vegetable?
Probably green beans, to be completely honest. That's just my go-to vegetable.
Because of just the taste, or?
Yeah, I will say that they don't have too much fiber. So if you want a lot of fiber, broccoli or kale is my favorite, or Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
See, lots of good fiber.
To me, they kind of taste like potatoes or something. Oh. They're more like full than other vegetables,
Interesting.
Like if I eat a bunch of carrots, I'm still freaking hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, Brussels do have a lot more fiber, which help keep us full.
So, yeah. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because that's a big reason I didn't eat a lot of vegetables is because I would go eat a bunch and still be hungry. And I'm like,
oh, well, yeah. These. I mean, vegetables are not there to keep you full forever. You obviously have to have other foods with those.
Yep. I have learned that. 'Cause I would literally just buy a bag of carrots and eat them and then be like, okay, this is dumb.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, because I'm used to just eating like one food at a time. Like I can go eat a steak and that's it. And I just feel
really?
I feel fine. I don't have to have the vegetables.
Right.
I just need a protein, really.
Okay.
Which is why I like the idea of the carnivore diet, but I guess it's wrong. So what are your thoughts on daily water intake?
Oh my goodness, we have to have our water for so many reasons. If you follow me on Instagram at Nutrition with Kills, I actually just did a post on this yesterday or the day prior. So water intake obviously does depend on the person. Usually 60 ounces is good for the average person. Say you only drink like 30 ounces of water a day. So that is not a lot. So I would probably bump you up to like 50 to 60 ounces at the very beginning.
Once you're up there, what is the full amount of water
Again, that's person dependent. I personally have been drinking a gallon of water for like years, and I feel incredible doing that.
So,
But
drink a lot of water, right?
heck yes.
What about just philosophies behind it? Do you just think you should have one jug, you fill it up in the morning with how much water you should have throughout the day? Drink.
Personal preference.
Is that personal preference? But there's certain methods that
Oh,
don't
there's
work as
definitely
well.
different. Oh,
Because
yeah.
like, I have no clue how much water I drink. I know
Right.
I'm supposed to be drinking more, so I put in that effort to drink more. But,
Yeah.
it would make sense for me to have at least a bottle that has measurements on it. So if
That's
I
a good point.
fill it up a couple times.
Yeah, and I mean, you can definitely find those like on Amazon and stuff. I personally have a whole gallon jug, and it has different times. It goes from like 9 a.m. to like 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. So at those particular like time blockings, I guess, is had like you should have like that much already drank.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
My thing is like I just don't like carrying around a full gallon of water with me
You
every
don't have
day.
to carry a gallon?
But yeah, that's why I think I should get like a half
buy, like, a water
or
bottle.
like a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
like
I just
this
have
one is a half gallon.
Yeah, I should get something like that.
Yeah.
Because I just do cups like this and
then
I
you
have
lose track.
I have no clue.
Yep.
In fact, I'll probably fill it up before it's empty, so then I really don't even know how many cups I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good
So
to know.
basically the advice is keep track of it, right? You should track how much
Yeah.
water you're having. You should be having a good amount. It depends on the person, but more than a half gallon, probably,
Little more.
a little more
yeah.
than a half gallon.
And
yeah.
just to give some context, a half gallon's only 64 ounces. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's not too much.
Okay. Did we talk about this? What are the effects of processed sugar on the body?
We kind of briefly
did.
went over processed foods, but I mean, just in general, it can just cause some health issues. But at the same time, in like, say, moderation, it's not going to do too much. Like, it's fine. Like, your body will kind of like just process it and then move on.
Okay.
You can kind of go down a rabbit hole, so I don't want to get too much into that because
Yeah.
it can get extremely complicated. So we'll just say like it's fine in moderation.
Okay. What do you recommend for protein bars and granola bars as far as
Ooh.
like brands and stuff?
Like brands? Oh my gosh. My favorite protein bars are probably the Think Thin bars. They're so freaking good.
Think Thin.
Think Thin. Amazing. They might have it all plant-based line, so Sabrina might like this. Yeah, and usually the regular ones with whey protein has like 20 to 25 grams of protein in them and like 20 grams of carbs.
Whey protein bars they have?
Basically, in all protein bars that are not plant-based, it's whey protein.
Whey protein is a company too, right?
No. Whey protein is just a type of protein.
Oh, maybe I've just confused the type of protein for a brand at a certain time. Okay,
Yes.
interesting. Okay, but in general, you do recommend
So
bars that have whey protein in them are good.
Yeah.
Are good.
yeah,
What
so
about granola bars and stuff?
granola bars, I mean, they're fine, but they're just for overall energy, so it's just gonna like be fast carbohydrates. So that's really all granola bars are. They're usually like 25 grams carbs.
I like to eat chewy granola bars, which I know are not the best. I like to eat natural Nutri-Grain bars.
Nutri-Grain?
What are the ones that get really crumbs all
Those?
over them?
Oh, the Nature Valley.
Nature Valley. I eat those sometimes.
Those would be a good
And then-
pre or post workout carbs, though.
Okay, and then Cliff Bars is
Cliff bars are great for, I would say, probably more so post workout.
okay. Okay.
It's like 40 grams carbs. It's great.
Okay, cool. What are your thoughts on fasting and keto diets?
Oh boy. All right. Well, let's go with keto first because that's probably like a little bit more popular. Keto is not meant for everybody. It was originally meant for epileptic kids. So if you don't know what an epileptic kid is, it means that they have seizures on the reg. So it was actually meant originally for that. And honestly, that helped them. That's amazing. See, that's when I'd be like, cool, go and do keto. That's awesome. I know it can work with some cancer patients. So I've honestly not personally done any real research into that. So I'm not going to touch upon that.
But your average goer like me,
Yes, I would
I-
not recommend keto because, our brain has to have at least 130 grams of glucose. And so basically glucose carbs, right? And so we have to have that in order to basically have good overall brain functioning. I guess.
functionality.
So someone who does begin keto, after I would probably say the first couple months, it's not going to be sustainable. Why? Because when you're on keto, you have maybe 20 or 30 grams of carbs. And because to kind of give you a overall context of that, that's like one banana. So they only have that many carbs in a day. Whereas their fat is through the freaking roof, obviously, because then your body does rely on ketosis, which is when your body runs on like the ketones, fats, etc. We don't have to get into that, the big thing of
And you
that.
said at one point what problems too much fat could cause.
Yes, yep.
What was that
And so
again?
this can happen. Yeah, so that can cause high blood lipids, high cholesterol, atherosclerosis, which means the hardening of your arteries. A lot of the time people will always eat, for their fat sources, red meat, which like if they eat that every day, like I said, that's not the best. They'll eat a lot of butter with everything, bacon, just cheese, just everything that they really shouldn't have. So when someone is on keto and say they do it for a couple months, they lose 20 pounds, awesome. But then they will go back to what they currently, we're also eating. So say like a lot of heavy like carbohydrates, etc. They will gain that weight back so fast, and then they'll just keep going in that cycle. So that's also why it's just a waste.
So my next question was going to be, why do you think it's a popular diet right now? But I guess that might explain it. Is it
because it's quote unquote easy and you lose weight fast.
Yeah. So short-term weight loss makes people feel like it's good. Do you think probably there's some long-term effects on your brain and things that maybe people don't see right away, and that's why it's popular? Or
on your brain, I honestly have no idea.
I thought you said that there's lack of carbs weren't good for your brain.
Oh yeah, so then your brain winds up running like on the fat, so like on the ketones, and it's very complicated. So either way, it just kind of has your body feeling very run down. And there's a thing called the keto flu at the very beginning. And it's when like you honestly feel like you are extremely sick because your body is just trying to go and adjust to the difference in the carbs and the fats and everything.
Okay.
So it's pretty crazy.
Sounds wild. What are your thoughts on fasting?
Okay, so fasting. So that has become pretty prevalent recently, as I'm sure you all have obviously seen. And that does depend on the person as well. I personally could never ever fast because I get extremely low blood sugar when I do, and I just feel awful. There are some people who they fast for their cardio, they fast for their workouts, but then they will go eat afterwards. Or there are some people that do intermittent fasting. And so that just means they'll eat for a certain block of time and then they will not eat for a certain amount of time too.
And is that fine? That's totally fine with you?
I don't have any clients that do that or that have tried that. Say for somebody such as like a nurse, that may benefit them.
In general, as long as you're meeting your goals for your macronutrients,
it can work.
Ate them all right after you worked out or something.
Well, okay.
Like, or you didn't eat in the mornings or whatever, like the spacing of intermittent fasting, you don't see a huge problem with it necessarily.
It just depends on how the person is using it. People will usually give themselves like 8 to 10 hours to eat. So within a certain time block. So say they start their meals at 11 or 12. So 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. They'll eat until 8 or 9 p.m. and then fast for that length of time. So, I mean, that's a pretty solid amount of time for some people.
I mean, you're sleeping most of that time, right? So
depends on the person. Yeah. Myself, no, I couldn't do that. But because one, I do get up early. Two, I get like extremely hungry when I am awake, and I just could never do that. But for some people, if that is your way of doing things and it works, then that's great.
I was kind of speculating on this. I'm not sure. I think this is kind of a gray area, so I think I'm allowed to have opinions on it. But I feel like I've seen a bunch of like successful like CEOs and types of people who probably work 80 hours a week and they don't work out talk about how good the intermittent fasting was for them. And I feel like for people who are working out a lot, it's really not a good option for them because you get hungry all the time because you're always burning calories.
Hard, yeah.
So it might be a good option for like a workaholic or someone who like physically can't work out, but
maybe
I don't think it works for people like you and me that like to work out a lot.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know if there's anyone I know that does intermittent fasting and who does lift a lot, but if I do, I'll have to ask them about it.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on cardio? Why do people say that cardio is bad for you when trying to lose weight? And me and you, we were talking yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was saying I did cardio for an hour, and that kind of made you a little
little bit nervous.
A little nervous, yeah. So what are your thoughts on cardio, and why do people say it's bad for you for losing weight?
So it's not bad for overall losing weight. However, if somebody such as yourself goes into cardio and they begin just in general, say that you haven't really done a lot of cardio in your life and you begin at 5 days a week and at 60 minutes each session. Say after 2-3 months, you've lost some pounds. Awesome. At the same time, you probably will kind of not be able to continue losing weight because you are at that same amount of high cardio for that length of time. So if you want to continue losing weight, you will have to increase the either amount of days that you are currently doing cardio or the length of time that you're doing cardio, if that makes sense.
So you're going to have to keep upping,
so you have to keep increasing it. So that sucks, obviously.
It's pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you were telling me yesterday your recommendation would be to first get your diet in order, right?
Diet is so important.
Yeah, lose as much weight as you can just based on your diet alone.
I mean, cardio is a great tool.
Yeah.
Think about it that way. But it's a good tool.
You can't run really hard for 3 months and then stay that thin.
Right.
I think that's your main point, is that if you run really hard for 3 months, you get thin. Yay, amazing. You got to run that hard for the rest of your life to stay that thin.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying? So,
and I'm not saying that somebody will wind up gaining any weight if they are continuing on, say, 5 days a week, an hour at a time each day. No, but you probably just, will not go down anymore.
If you focus on diet, say you get injured or something, your diet can stay the same. Meanwhile, you can't do cardio anymore. Or if you wind up on a 3-week vacation, you might gain a bunch of weight because you don't have a treadmill. If you're staying thin, mostly diet-based, it's going to be more sustainable, I guess, is kind of the thought process.
Yeah. It gets complicated, but usually I see cardio just as a tool in general. Just to help with overall weight loss. For somebody who wants to, say, lose weight. Say they have never done cardio in their life. So usually I will put them in a caloric deficit because that means you're expending more than you're eating. And so I would probably begin them at 1 or 2 cardio things a week.
And
as opposed to having 5 days a week of cardio.
What is your definition of one cardio session?
Well, it just kind of depends. So if they've never done cardio or say they just haven't done it in a while, they've only lifted weights or, something along those lines, I would begin them relatively slower. So 20 to 30 minutes. And if it's for someone who literally has not ever done any cardio, 15 to 20 minutes.
Don't you need to do at least 30 minutes of cardio to start actually losing any significant weight from cardio?
Your heart rate kind of depends on all of that. That kind of bases what you're saying. So you have to get within a certain target heart rate zone. If you get within a certain heart rate range for your age and all of that jazz, then that's when you can begin burning for weight loss. So it just kind of depends. Again, person dependent.
Yeah.
It gets very complicated.
Yeah, I'm sure you could do 10 minutes on the cardio machine and then maybe some circuit lifting and keep your heart rate up at
yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just keep your heart rate up. Yeah, and that will definitely help.
Jump some rope maybe.
You could jump rope, yeah. I haven't done that in a while. That'd be fun though.
Yeah, me either. That was a real 70s move, I think.
I know.
Okay. Do you prefer spaghetti squash or chickpea pasta? And I've kind of noticed that you post about a brand called Banza chickpea pasta. Why do you like that brand?
Oh, I've only posted about them once in my life.
Once?
Yeah.
I remembered it, okay?
No, that's awesome.
We legit started eating that because we saw it on your story, so be careful what you post one time, man.
So it wasn't Banza, it was a Kroger brand of a red lentil pasta. I have it in the pantry currently. Okay. But either way, so chickpea pasta, lentil pasta, whatever types of black bean pasta or whatever types that they do create that are plant-based, they have some protein in them, which is probably why Sabrina likes them because, she's a pescatarian. But yeah, usually they have 13 to 15 grams of protein in them. I will say the protein that's in those is an incomplete protein, which if you are on my email list, you would have just gotten that about the different types of proteins. But either way. So then there's that. There's 2 different types of proteins. Complete and incomplete. We can go into that at a different time. Unless unless you want to go into it.
Just quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
Oh,
what's the difference between complete and incomplete?
Yeah. So a complete protein is something that has all 9 essential amino acids that we have to have that are the building blocks of proteins.
Okay.
Okay. So there's 20 total amino acids, 9 of which our bodies cannot make, so we have to get from food. Cool, right?
Interesting.
So, and those include animal meats, dairy products, any types of proteins that you think are actual proteins, like whey. So like whey protein, casein protein. Yeah, so all of those. So then an incomplete obviously does not have the 9th essential amino acid that helps with the protein.
It has 8? Okay.
Usually. I mean, it can like kind of range. So let's see. So beans would be a good one. Collagen. Soy is actually a complete protein.
Interesting.
So for all of the vegans and vegetarians.
So I'm guessing that it's fine to eat those, but you want to make sure you're getting some of those complete proteins.
Yeah, incomplete.
You can't rely on them, right? Yeah.
Yep.
But you could rely on the complete proteins only.
Well, yeah.
That would make sense.
So hopefully that makes sense. And so kind of what I was getting at there is like, the protein in Banza and the red lentil pasta, that's going to be incomplete.
Got it.
So if you have that, just be sure to pair it with a complete protein.
Okay. What are your thoughts on alternative or non-dairy milks?
Oh, that's personally what I do. I don't drink milk. But that's just like a personal preference. So yeah, I love oat milk is great. Almond milk, coconut milk.
Okay, but is there a problem with normal milk then?
I don't like it for myself. I just don't like the taste. I don't know. I'm just weird.
Is there
we can
any
go down a rabbit hole with that. I personally do not feel like I am that very like qualified to talk about.
Okay.
I don't know.
If you're not qualified, we don't have to.
It has calcium and vitamin D. It's great if you like milk.
We'll leave it at that. In general, I've heard some hate towards milk, but we don't need to talk about it. What are your thoughts on veggie meat, like faux meat products? And are there any brands or types that you eat or like or recommend?
So I do like some, yes. However, I will say just kind of be wary. Be wary and mindful of what is inside of them. So obviously they are all super, super processed. They do have a lot of just, ingredients that we don't have to have. A lot of them are soy based. So if you like soy, then that's awesome. They're honestly more carbs than they are protein.
Interesting.
So a lot of, people will go and have them as a protein source. Some will say they'll have a black bean burger for protein. I'm like, that's maybe 5 grams of protein. That's not a lot.
So if we eat those like with our breakfast, we might not need a big carb source as well.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though, beyond meat, their patties are like 17 to 20 grams of protein. They're very good. So if you like those.
What was the type that I told you last night that we eat a lot of?
I think it was Beyond. Oh, no it was Morningstar.
Morningstar, is that in the category where you
good. I don't really remember honestly how much protein is. I know for the sausage actually, sausage. I think it was a good amount of protein because I used to have those in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what we eat, a lot of Morningstar.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's totally fine if you are okay with soy, then that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, like I said, soy is a complete protein. So that's good for vegans, vegetarians, etc.
Nice. What do you think are some healthy or healthier fast food restaurants or where to eat if you don't have a packed meal?
So it obviously does depend on where you currently are. For those people who are, say, in like a big city, Whole Foods has a great big hot bar, salad bar, etc. Awesome choices. However, it can be kind of expensive. So going off of that, I will say places such as Kava actually are not too bad. Kava is very good.
Sabrina's going to be very excited to hear.
Yes.
Kava is on the
It's on the good list. Yes.
The green light list.
Yes. However, I will say, just kind of be mindful of the sodium content and the chicken and whatnot. Because I did do some research over the summer. It's a little bit higher. I think with Kava, you can do half vegetables, half chicken. So you always do that. That's great. Panera is some good option. Just be mindful again of their sauces and just kind of look more to everything that you are eating from there. Because obviously, everything is pretty much from like a bag. It's not as good as we think it is. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I feel like you are not a super big fan of Panera.
Not super big, no. I mean, however, say that you get your sauce on the side, say you get like a salad or something, then that's fine because then you can go and kind of control what you are putting on there. If you like Chipotle, that's really not bad either. Because again, you can just get rice, chicken, or any type of meat.
That is
guac,
good.
that's great. Like fats, carbs, proteins, boom.
I'm a huge fan of Chipotle, so
I was gonna say, I thought you liked Chipotle.
Super happy that that is getting a thumbs up. I mean,
sodium. So if you do have those things, have lots of water to just kind of, get it all out.
But I gotta get a soda with my Chipotle. Oh,
Soda's a different, that'll be a different ball game. We'll tackle
that in a minute. Okay, so what is the healthiest way to order a Starbucks drink?
So I know with most of these drinks, they have a classic syrup they put in literally everything before the actual syrup, if that makes sense. So say you get like a pumpkin latte. They'll put a pump of classic in there, which is probably 8 to 10 grams of carbs. So it's like pure sugar on top of the 2 to 4 pumps of pumpkin they'll put in there. So if you want to kind of be more mindful of what you are ordering from there, you could do, say you're getting hypothetically a latte. You would say like a latte, no classic syrup. And you could do half the amount of pumps of syrup. So say it comes with 4, get 2 or get 1. And then you don't have to get extra sugar in there, right? And you can do like almond milk, regular milk, oat milk, or whatever milk that they have. Yeah.
So that's the best way to handle it if you're like, I really want a tasty Starbucks drink. Obviously, the best way would probably just be to get black coffee with whatever cream. Right?
Yes, obviously. But, if you do want something that is like sweeter side, I guess
more
you
fun
would
side.
say. The fun side.
The fun drinks, the seasonal drinks.
Yeah, then you could just always cut down on the sugar.
That is...
Or on the pumps of syrup.
That was a really good question and a really good tip.
Was it good? Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Oh, really? I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
They just add that freaking extra pump. Oh, my God. You can pretty much do that anywhere. So you can always ask for like half of the pumps of, whatever. And then say you're getting like a salad or something, ask for the sauce on the side. If you don't want to use your carbs on a bun, say you're getting like a burger, then you can always ask for the bun off of it, or you can get it wrapped in lettuce or something.
Oh yeah, you were throwing a little bit of shade on salads earlier. Is that your problem?
Yeah,
is that the salt?
yeah.
Is the dressing your problem?
Usually it is the dressing, because that is what kind of has like the majority of fat in it. And so like, don't get me wrong, fat's awesome. We have to have our fats, but if you're having a salad with like the sole purpose of, oh, I'm going to be healthy, but then you're having like ranch, like a big thing of just ranch on top, you're kind of defeating the whole purpose of having like a salad. And that happens with the majority of restaurants. The salads at Panera, they are extremely, extremely high calorie because they just put so many extra things in there. So just always like kind of look up what you are about to go eat, and that will be like, oh wow, like this has XXX, I should probably go get something else, or maybe only have half of this or something along those lines.
Got it. You have provided us with a bunch of nutrition information. I really appreciate that. I cannot wait to go back over this video and kind of digest this all a little bit further. No pun intended.
That was funny.
Oh yes. Sidebar, I want to be a little bit more of a comedian during these podcasts, like maybe just crack one joke.
No, please do.
But
you definitely should.
Remember I told you I got the dad jokes too. That was a dad joke.
Yeah.
Okay. This is all amazing, but when it comes to eating healthier, there are a lot of things I already knew that I should be doing that I have a hard time changing my habits and behaviors, right? So I talked about with Frank, one thing like is sodas, right? I've had a very hard time cutting soda out of my diet, even though before I even talked to you, I knew that sodas were not good for me.
Right.
So do you have any tips on habits and behavior changing when it comes to diet and how to go about that?
I'm trying to think of what would make it less broad. So we could take your soda situation. So why do you feel that you like soda so much? What does it kind of do for you?
First of all, I love the taste.
Okay,
but I really love the sugar spike of energy, and then the caffeine
sugar.
The caffeine intake too.
We could find kind of, something that you could always replace the soda with. I know you mentioned earlier you aren't into carbonated waters, the flavored waters, etc. Are they just not sweet enough, or what do you kind of not like about them?
I wouldn't mind them as a substitute to water. Okay. They don't fix my soda craving. No.
Okay. So how many sodas would you say you probably have like a day?
So we were talking about this about a month ago on the phone.
Yeah.
I was like extremely unhealthy about 2 months ago.
Right, I remember that.
And I've gotten a lot healthier now.
Heck yes.
So about 2 months ago, I would say probably 3 a day, and I'm averaging 1.5 a day now.
Okay.
Maybe two a day.
Well, that's even
And
just
I've-
like a big step.
Yes, and I've made a big shift from Coca-Cola to Sprite because I know
That is a big shift.
The clear sodas are better for you.
That's true. So then, yeah, I mean, in regard to that, just kind of find something that kind of helps to fill in that gap. So there are these certain drinks. Granted, it is technically water, but they are called Zevias, and they make them in like a Coca-Cola flavor, Mountain Dew, root beer, Dr. Pepper, maybe something with grape, etc. And I promise you, they taste like soda. They are so freaking good. And, say hypothetically that does not work out. Then obviously, we could kind of go in and find something else that does kind of fit what you like in, say, like a soda, but not in soda form. What if you have a Sprite, but then you add some extra water to it?
Interesting.
I mean, that thought just kind of honestly came to me.
That is kind of in line with what me and Frank talked about, which is replacing one habit with a healthier habit, right?
Right.
And then we also were talking about maybe someone who wants to quit smoking, and you seem like you have some light to shed on maybe that situation. If you were to advise someone on how to quit smoking, what kind of stance do you take?
As a future RD, usually our big thing is to always tackle smoking first, right? Because that is a big thing and you want to get rid of that at some point. Depending on how often that you do smoke, you could always try to gradually kind of begin cutting that out, replace that habit with something else. I mean, that's probably more like an oral fixation type thing. So that could be more in like the psych range.
Gum or something, though?
You could do gum, yeah. Or if you have to hold something in your hand, replace that with a bottle of water or something along those lines. So then you always have something in your hand, if that makes sense.
So the soda situation is pretty easy. Replace one drink with the other drink.
Right.
But depending on if you have a fidget with your hand in the cigarette, you might want to get like a fidget cube or something.
That's true,
and then if you have an oral fixation, maybe something like gum or water or
something along those lines. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Even though it's not as clear cut as the sodas, you still need to replace that habit with a different habit, or else it's going to come back, right?
Yep. And that's what I do with all of my clients.
Smart. But
Habits
what about
and behaviors?
So there's a cue, right? The trigger's like, oh, I need to smoke, right? And then you switch that out with something like gum. But then for smoking, there's this reward of nicotine. And for gum, there's not the same reward there.
Well, kind of like what you were saying earlier. Oh, wait, that was with soda. I was going to say like the M&M thing.
Yeah. I guess the answer there, sorry to just answer my own question, but if you are on a Juul or a cigarette, switch to a vape, then switch from vaping like 3% nicotine down to 0% nicotine.
Oh, they have 1-0?
Yeah.
Oh,
then you do
try that.
Yeah, then you go from 0% nicotine to a different habit. You have the same cue and the same routine, but then the reward, you take away the reward with the same routine, and then maybe you switch to a different routine all in general.
That's smart.
I guess.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
You know?
See, that's my problem though. For certain habits, I actually know the psychology around fixing them, and I know how I would fix them. And
but then it's just hard to actually implement that with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, man.
It is hard. That
it's so much easier to talk about things on a podcast than it is to live them
actually
out.
go into that. Oh, jeez.
Is there something else, or do you want to segue into my own health?
That's all I had. We talked about everything else.
Yeah. So going off of that idea of it's easier to talk on a podcast than to live these out, right? I do just want to say to my audience that I'm actually not the healthiest person, right? I'm very much into working out, and when it comes to eating healthy, I'm actually not a role model. Part of the reason I'm excited about this podcast in general is I want to kind of capture my journey towards being like a healthy kind of role model for people. So if you couldn't tell, I don't know a lot about nutrition. I know a lot more now, but I have decided to actually become one of Kayla's clients. She's going to be...
Your official, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I'll do
it.
it.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Woohoo.
Welcome to Purely Balanced Nutrition.
Yes. I'm definitely, I think, gonna do it for like 3 months, right? And so me and Kayla are gonna talk a little bit about my own diet. So I think my main problem with my diet is inconsistency. You were like, what do you eat on a daily basis? Well, I don't have a consistent diet, so it's very, very hard for me to say that. For instance, I'll eat bananas and they go bad, so I'll eat a bunch of bananas for like 2 days and then I won't eat bananas again for like a week, you know?
Oh, okay.
Along with healthier choices, that's going to be the best part about this is getting in a consistent diet. Just tracking things in general, I think is going to... And that's kind of my whole philosophy with the workout plans too, is that tracking things...
It's very eye-opening.
It's so helpful,
cool.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So typically I'll wake up and I'll eat one of those breakfast sandwiches, right? Like a sausage, egg and cheese breakfast sandwich. Go to the gym, drink.
Just right after the sandwich.
Yeah, a half hour later. And then, coffee. I'll drink 2 cups of coffee I'd buy that Starbucks sauce that's just terrible for you.
The sauce.
Right?
The creamer.
The creamer, yeah. So probably 2 cups of coffee with a big helping of creamer in there. After the gym, I will have some sort of protein, either a shake or a bar. And then I will eat a big sandwich or something that has basically just meat and cheese on it. That's all I really want to eat. For dinner, usually I will have a big protein source.
Awesome.
And I'll eat like a small vegetable source. So I'll get 1 serving of vegetables a day if it's a good day. Then carbs, right? But then sprinkle on top of that, I'm probably drinking 2 sodas a day, goldfish and pretzels, chewy granola bars, bullshit like that. That's on a good day.
Okay.
I'll break down and I'll get fast food 3 times a week randomly. Weekends are a whole other story, you know. I really
usually that's what happens.
For instance, I had fast food probably 4 times as I drove up here. It was a 10-hour drive, right?
Right.
But I've had fast food a lot in the past couple of days. So whenever anything like alters my schedule, like a vacation or anything, or like I'm visiting someone for the weekend, boom, all fast food. I'm eating McDonald's. I'm eating Chick-fil-A. I'm eating Chipotle. I really like Chipotle. I don't keep track of my water intake, but I make a conscious effort to drink a lot of water. And then, on top of all that, I will have 1 Red Bull, or I will have 3 more cups of coffee with that creamer, right? So, and then I'll have some sort of dessert at night, right? Like,
okay.
I will have,
like what types of dessert?
like an ice cream sandwich, or like some cookies, or like a brownie. I eat a lot of brownies. And I'm very inconsistent. It's chaos. I guess we're honestly going to have to start tracking my diet before we really know how bad it is. Because I'm
100%.
probably making it
You'll
sound
have
a
to do
little bit
that.
better than it is, you know?
You probably are. But that's okay.
Someday I'll have a really good day. Instead of all those goldfish, I'll have 2 bananas or something, you know?
Yeah.
And it'll be a good day. I just went on a huge tangent. What are your thoughts?
So in regards to breakfast, not bad, but at the same time, if that is what you're having every day, I would incorporate some protein. So the sandwich itself may have 15 to 25 grams of protein, just from like what I can
It'll have a sausage on it.
guess. So sausage is going to be more fat than protein though, for the most part. Especially if it's like pork sausage, it's going to have more fat than protein. I mean, if it has egg, cool, but again, fat also. I mean, eggs are awesome though. We love eggs. But at the same time, just have that good balance. For a pre-workout meal though, that's probably not the best. It's going to be higher in fat, especially because it's probably frozen. Not terrible, but I would add in some more protein.
If we have a good day, cook like eggs and breakfast potatoes, then we'll have those Morningstar sausage.
See, now that's fine.
And like a piece of toast.
Yeah.
That's better.
That's solid. That's a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do those.
But that's
more.
okay. You know, as time kind of goes on, you'll get into like that routine.
And that's
hopefully.
the inconsistent part, is because we might do that breakfast for a week and then I might do the frozen food for a whole week. It's just like, sheesh, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So kind of in regards to post-workout, we kind of talked about that earlier with the shake and everything. So that's not bad either. So if you're, say, doing just the sandwich but no shake, do more protein on the sandwich. If you're doing something like roast beef, that's usually going to have more fat than protein as well. Just kind of depending, especially with deli meat, you have to have a lot of it to get like a lot of protein though.
I do like roast beef.
Yeah. So maybe find like a leaner cut and add roast beef and the leaner cut. Or maybe don't do roast beef post-workout. So something I forgot to mention earlier. So when you do consume fat post-workout or pre-workout, it can slow the absorption of protein. And so we obviously don't want that to happen pre or post-workout, because we want that protein to get to our muscles so that we can activate muscle protein synthesis. I would incorporate more lean proteins for your post-workout if you're not having a shake. If you're having the shake, great. Incorporate more carbohydrate sources. For your dinner, I mean, obviously dinners are going to depend. So.
It's random, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll usually just cook a big meat thing, steak or beef or chicken. I eat a lot of chicken nuggets, actually.
Usually chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets are not the best, I guess.
Well, usually they just don't have the most protein in them. It's going to be a lot of carbs.
I do like the Asian chicken nuggets where like the sauce all over it.
Sauce is going to be higher in sodium, so just watch out for that.
But yeah,
just drink your water.
The sauce, they always comes with like 2 big packets of sauce. I only do 1.
Okay, well at least that's good, you know?
I don't take any vitamins.
Oh, you don't take a multi?
Nope, I don't take a multi. I'll
give you recommendations for a multi.
I know I should be taking vitamin
before
D.
You leave.
Yeah, a lot of things I know I should do that I don't do. Which is why I was so interested in like this whole psychology behind everything.
Yeah.
You know?
That is interesting. So, when you were in like elementary school, did you ever take the Flintstone vitamin?
Yeah.
Oh, so then when you were younger, you at least took that.
Inconsistently, yes.
Right.
I am so glad that I've changed my diet a little bit because when I was on the phone with you a month ago, remember, it was a lot.
I remember when you moved,
I was eating fast food daily.
That's wild.
One meal of fast food every day.
So let me ask you this,
like a while.
When you were eating that much fast food, how did you feel when you were eating it? Good, bad, like okay, sluggish, energized?
Man, it was so inconsistent.
Oh, okay.
And yes. In general, when I was eating a lot of bad food.
So that's something else, but you don't want to say food's bad or good.
Fast food. Yeah, energy levels do spike more often and stuff like that.
You think that they go up when you have fast food? Okay.
I think, or do they not? I don't know.
Usually it's the opposite, but that's okay.
So
that's why I was asking.
Why this is a hard? This is a hard question because when I do get unhealthy, it's because I am like working 70 hours a week, and I'm not really even paying attention to anything. Like I'm just paying attention to my work, and I'm just in the zone. I'm not even monitoring my body to see if I feel good or not.
Wow.
I'm just like eating to like.
Just to
stay alive.
Live.
It's like almost barbaric, you know what I'm saying? I just fucking code until I feel weird, and then I'll run to the fast food and come back and then jump back in the code, and I'm just worried about Drive Fitness and all this stuff, and I'm not worried about how I feel. Like, so I didn't feel that good.
That makes sense though. That's
as far as like my energy levels or whatever, I'm more caffeine focused. So if I feel sluggish after fast food, well then I'll take a Red Bull and then I'll feel good. So I'm always monitoring how I feel based around caffeine and other stimulants that don't really require me to focus on how the food is making me. They kind of override. How shitty I might be feeling on the food.
That makes sense.
So I don't know. It was hard. It was hard for me to focus in on that thing since I didn't care about that thing. You know?
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, this would be super then eye-opening whenever you do begin. So.
And the most important thing too, right, is that I'm kind of in a lull where I have some free time, and
this is the like perfect time to begin.
Yeah. So I want to build these habits, but also, right, I'm worried that once I start working a lot again, I need to sustain these, right?
Then you have these like good habits and behaviors in place.
I might have time to wake up in the mornings and make breakfast now, but as soon as I work again, I might go back to the frozen sandwiches, and not just because I don't care, but because I don't have the time. And
I will say there are definitely other options that you can have. So actually, this would kind of be good for everyone that they do have to wake up at 5 or 4. There are things that you can also make the night prior, a couple of days in advance, etc. You could do overnight oats. Super easy. You just put oats in a container, put whatever else you want in there. Milk, put it in the fridge, let it sit, wake up, pull it out, eat it, go. It's like super, super easy. If you don't like oats, you could do hard boiled eggs. Super easy. Again, you could prep those a few days in advance. You obviously don't have to. You can do them the night prior, whatever. But that's like a great option too. You got proteins and fats, and you could have that and the overnight oats. Boom. You're done. If you don't like either of those options, you could also always create something else that you do like with different ingredients, if that makes sense. So there definitely is other options, but
I know that you probably want me to really track my shit
for the next week so that I can,
and then you can give me analysis. But I did just kind of want a milestone on where my health is, so that if I'm like, hey, I feel super healthy, and Kayla really helped me and all this stuff, there's a good pinpoint in a podcast episode where it's like, here's where I was. Yeah, I almost wish that we recorded that phone call a month ago.
I know, that'd be awesome.
Because I was much unhealthier a month ago than I am today. Obviously, I was in the middle of a move and all that shit.
Right, that's very stressful. And that's actually something that will kind of affect our overall body also. Stress and everything, cortisol like will spike, weight retention, and then it's a lot for sure.
Yep. Well, I am super excited to have you work on me with my health and nutrition and my diet.
I'm excited. Thanks for me to help you.
No, I think this is really going to help me kind of be the role model and brand that I wanted to be, with this company. I think that, especially with my diet, I am in no place to tell anyone else how to live, right? And it'll be super exciting, I really probably shouldn't run a fitness podcast eating the way I eat, Probably.
Well, that's okay, it's all learning lesson.
Yeah, I definitely don't try to say anything I don't know, right?
Right.
I'm quick to be like, what?
Oh, definitely, yeah,
but
and that's great.
It'll be fun to maybe run this podcast from a more educated perspective.
No, for sure. That makes sense.
So regarding nutrition, do you have any final thoughts, maybe reasons why you were so passionate about it?
Yeah, so I originally went into nutrition because growing up, I was always kind of surrounded by it from my grandparents, my parents. My dad was a bodybuilder when he was actually in college. My aunt was too. I've always seen that and been like, yes, this is, what I kind of should be doing. This is what I love. And just kind of seeing other people who may not have had those types of people in their lives, that sucks, It would be awesome to be that person for those other people who do not have that person in their life. I can make a good impact with the people that I also am kind of currently working with and that I will eventually work with,
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome that you had such great role models and that you kind of want to help spread that even further, right?
Yeah, most
that's awesome.
Definitely. We love nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition. Any final reason why someone who's listening needs to take their nutrition seriously? And
it can help you live longer, guys. Do you want to live longer? Yes.
All right, there you go. I think that's a good point.
I know, right?
Do
Just
you
hit
want
them
to
with
die?
that.
Do you want to die? Get
Do you
your
want to
shit
live
together.
a long time? Yes. Then eat well. Take care of your body. Exercise.
No, but for real, if you're listening to this podcast and you're unhealthy and you need a wake-up call, this is it, right?
This is your motherfucking wake-up call.
Motherfucking wake-up.
Sorry, Mom. No.
Get it together, guys, and we're here for you.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Kayla.
Sure.
This has been amazing. You are so knowledgeable on this subject, so I'm so happy to have someone with real education when it comes to nutrition, share that with us. And honestly, you are a dope motherfucker. You impress me all the time with your fitness accounts.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me up here, man.
Yes, no, thank you for having me on the podcast. And if, anybody is also super interested, I know I did plug my website earlier, but it's purelybalancednutrition.com, and then my Instagram is nutrition with kills with 2 S's. So.
2 S's, fam. All right. See you next week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Yay, we did it.
Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a reminder, check out our merchandise at drivefitness.app/store. Also, there is exclusive episodes on our Patreon account. Kayla and I actually recorded a whole nother episode all about bodybuilding. And that episode, the uncut version, I'm going to put up on our Patreon account. So if you go to patreon.com/drivefitness, you can see a whole nother episode with Kayla right now. And if you liked last week's episode with Frank, there is a whole nother episode with Frank on our Patreon account right now. Please support the Patreon account, guys. I don't want to go get a real job. I just want to keep making podcasts.